So, I have watched the Florida Project 2 years ago and I have been in love with it ever since. I never knew or remembered the director behind it until I watched the film for the second time. The name finally stuck in my head, Sean Baker. So it's only 6 films. However, there is one film that I just couldn't find, Take Out 2004. I even contacted Sean Baker and he replied with this. He even said the word please. Yeah, I respected him and all the filmmakers all around the world. So yeah, I will watch Take Out next year. Without further ado, this is Sean Baker's film ranked by me. This is the first film that Sean Baker directed, and as I predicted, it really feels like his first film. No budget, simple and raw. But it's not a bad film. For 90 minutes of runtime, or I could say for one night, I already knew so much about each of the individual's personality that exists in this very film. If every character in this film is stranded on an island, I could predict which one of them that will betray and kill their friends, and others that will survive until the end. Of course, the one who will getting laid on the sand is Karren, or he doesn't exist in this movie, never mind. And I think that this is a good thing to have a story that can give such luxury, if that's the right word, especially for a first major film that Sean directed. It really is not a bad film, because truth be told, his aim in this film is the communication and behavior of each of the characters. I mean, the main plot is a bunch of teenagers having a party, a plot that is usually happen only for a couple of minutes in a scene on another films. So yeah, don't judge this film too much. I gotta say that I have mixed feeling about this film, so let me explain the whole picture of this film. It's a film about a porn star that has a relationship with an old woman. This relationship started when a girl named Jane bought an old thermos from this old woman's garage sale named Sadie. Long story short, she became really close with the old lady and started to care about her. And I would say that to see this happening is boring at first. It is not relatable at any circumstances, and I don't think that this kind of story will drive me crazy or even get my attention at all. The old lady is so irritating and both of them looks like they have no chemistry at all. But throughout the film, I started to care about these characters. I started to feel empathy towards the old woman. I started to hate some of the characters because of their ego and selfishness, and most importantly, I started to feel the strong connection between Jane and Sadie. Sean really did a good job in character development. He shows Jane's job through a scene that some people would recall as unnecessary scene. I think what makes this film is so special is that the relationship that Sean Baker is trying to tell is really unusual. I mean, a relationship between two strangers that has a really big gap of age is not common or normal. Sounds familiar? Yes, this movie is heavily influenced by Harold and Maude, a love story between an 80-year-old woman and 20-year-old boy. The cinematic of this film is really simple and straightforward, and I think the color itself is a little bit too dull and empty, and it kind of affects my feeling towards the film at first. Sometimes it is hard to care about these characters, but in the end, it all worked out pretty well, I think. Sean's approach to character development really catch me off guard. It is slow and surprisingly good. At first, you just cannot feel empathy to a relationship between an old woman and a porn star. I think no one really can. And I think when it comes to story and the main idea, this film has the best concept. A street hustler selling knockoff high-quality brand and suddenly is given a child by his ex-girlfriend. That is so fresh and funny if you ask me. And the best part is he has a boss, but not just any regular boss. It is Karren Karagulian. Oh my god, how could I hate this man? How could you? Alright, stop, Karen. Stop! Is really raw. The color is not well either, in my opinion. On this one, I got disturbed the most by the cinematic decision that Sean made, but it still doesn't change the fact that this film is a solid 4 out of 5. I will say this over and over again, Sean Baker is a godfather when it comes to character development, and he doesn't need a 5-star actor or actress to do so. He can pick a completely random person on the street and turn them into an Oscar-caliber actor. The main actor in this film, Prince Adu, yes, he has the same name like the film. He is a really good actor. He is really convincing and funny at the same time. I thought he was some well-known actor that I didn't know. Turns out he only played in one major film, and that's this very film. I can see this film being remade by a big company like A24 or else, and if it's happening, I am so ready for it. Okay, I am going to be super honest about my feeling with this film. I fucking love it. It is intense, intriguing, sickening, and lots of the scene in this film is so gross and unpleasant, but I just couldn't take my eyes off this damn film. To be fair, this does not feel like a film at all. It feels like you were there walking on the sidewalk and seeing everything that happened. Sean Baker has taken realism to a whole nother level. And what I mean by that is this film is absolutely the most ambitious and bold movie of his. I know other directors that use realism in their film too, but each one of them has a really different approach to their realism style. I'll talk about this again later. This film has a storyline that deals with so many problems, and it comes from every single character, almost, such as a father with a job of taxi driver who does not satisfy with his family and choose to release his undeniable lust by purchasing a prostitute so that he can do the job. Yeah, that is how fucked up this movie is. Friendly reminder, this movie is shot on an iPhone 5S.
It was literally the size of a matchbook that fit over the lens with a little stabilizer, and that was it. I was able to move very easily around and get different angles. There were 3 iPhones. You can see from we're not making a ton of money. So I had to sell off one of the iPhones to pay rent. Okay.
But once again, our true savior, Karren Karagulian, played as father. That's not the point. Every character is dealing with something. Either it's about lover, family, or even their own passion. You got it all in this film. All happen at a one-day timeline. So yes, the pace of every scene is very suspense, and I would say fast in a very good way. And the fact that it is shot on an iPhone 5S is just insane.
Starlet, if I would be shooting the next film on an iPhone, I would be outraged. I would, there'd be no way in the world I would have considered it.
Hey guys, this movie is perfect. So just watch it and stop watching Marvel movies too much. Because God knows every one of them gonna be the bad guys.
But like all their pictures are taken at an angle, or they look like their crusty long lost twin. I had this guy I was really good friends with. He was awesome. We hung out all the time. We were good friends that flirted. So let's go out, let's have fun, let's turn up. And I was having a really good time. He's so cool. We hung out with a bunch of his friends. Everything was fine. And then we get to the club. The second we got there, it went from cool hanging out vibes into let me buy these bottles, let me breathe on top of this girl I brought. It hit me. He's not.
I do fall into the camp of if you can shoot film, shoot film.